Welcome back to a final Unity, guys. In this episode on Morrasia, we are going to have a chat with consultant Idyia, so let's get to it.
Open the channel to Consultant Idyia.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsh.
As I told Constable Lixie, I don't know where she is. Must you interrupt my research with more pointless questions?
I am afraid so. According to the Constable's report, you are the Preserve's consultant.
Yes, I help select and verify preserved species in the biotopes. The Morrasians wanted a Federation expert, despite Lixie's objections. They were lucky to get me.
You were the last to see Dr. Hoon Forsh before her disappearance?
As far as I know, that's not a crime.
I'd like to know what you and the doctor discussed.
When I saw her for supper the other day, she was talking about genetic samples from the last shipment. She knows I don't like to hear people talk while I eat, so she said little else.
But Dr. Hoon Forsh was cataloging Morrasian species exclusively. Why would she want genetic samples from other animals in the preserve?
I don't concern myself with the lab work of junior scientists. Now, do you mind? I have important research to conduct.
Constable Lixie mentioned that you recommended the Ferengi trader Aramut for the second shipment.
He delivers what you want on time. The constable gave me hell when she found out that he was a Ferengi. She barely tolerates me because I'm a male.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Animal carcasses in an exobiology lab? Well, that's certainly unusual.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Sounds like incompetence to me. The Watchers blindly follow whatever care instructions they're given. No personal initiative at all.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
It must have been smuggled in. You know, the Watchers have requested restricted species before and were denied. Dr. Hoon Forsh must have found out about it.
Consultant, I am puzzled. Since you verified preserved species, you must have known this was an Akana. Why did you not report the misidentification?
I didn't want to. I wanted the chance to study it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Who am I to deprive science of my brilliant research on such a specimen?
Did the doctor confront any of the Watchers with her suspicions?
I think that's why she's missing. When she confronted them with the Akana, they must have stunned her. Those stunners don't trigger the surveillance system, so nobody knows about it.
Why would the Watchers resort to smuggling?
They're fanatics out to save the endangered creatures of the universe. I've suspected them all along, especially when I discovered this mistagging. You see, these tags can only be reprogrammed by a Watcher.
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those Watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
A mycordae mole experienced an electrical drain from its neural pathways. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those Watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for wasting it.
Idyia's accusation that the Watchers are fanatics is certainly plausible. Collectors can get zealous in their pursuit of rare specimens.
Idyia certainly has a high opinion of himself. The thing he seemed most interested in was his reputation.
I always feel like I need a shower after talking to Idyia.
These field units were prepared to gather specific samples, which were to be extracted with this bioprobe. I would like to know what Dr. Force expected to learn from them.
Okay, this is basically the tedious part of the game.
The field unit is configured for a specific terrain and climate. It monitors the conditions of animals who have been injected with identification microchips. This Class C field unit is configured for aquatic travel. This Class A field unit is configured for rocky terrain and torrid climate zones. Dr. Forsch has maintained an excellent laboratory. All of her equipment is highly advanced. This Class B field unit is configured for mountainous terrain and tropical climate zones.
Okay, so the goal now is to head out to the biotopes and basically collect samples from everywhere we possibly can. There's 11 in total, and then bring them back and scan them on the sonic scanner. It's not the most riveting video, I suppose.
Let's go out to the biotopes and see what these field units bring back.
Yes, let's. I'm going to speed this up as much as possible because it's really just the same thing. First thing you need to do is go over to the shuttle bay. And at the shuttle bay you will
The
find a
microgenerator uses thermal energy to replenish its internal power source.
Yeah, we'll have that. And now we have to go to each biotope individually. And why didn't I speed this one up? I'm pretty sure I speed them all up after this one. I have absolutely no idea why I didn't speed this particular one up, but there you have it. I'm afraid we'll just have to deal with it. Strange part is Data's one of the quickest characters as well. And you have to do this in each of the 3 biotopes.
This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are within the jelly corals and the water.
So we know where to send the field units now. Let's just have a look at this antenna.
This is part of the surveillance system monitoring distress calls in the preserve. The antennae trigger informational displays of various species. According to the kiosk map, the population within the living jelly corals is constantly in flux.
Okay, and now I know where to send. Now you know where to send the field unit. We need to use the aquatic one, and it goes out to each of the areas that it has to. And it comes back with a sample, which we then have to extract with the bioprobe. And fortunately, it's possible to speed up the field units in the same way that it is possible to speed up the enterprise guys. So let's do this quickly.
I see no way of using this with that object.
Whoops. And last one. And that's the aquatic area complete. Next time we will move on to the caverns and the tropical area.